The entire Krillian assault battalion just crossed the warning line, and the human cadets putting on headphones. Commander Vexia's claws scraped against the observation deck's railing as she watched the tactical display explode with red markers. 523 elite cadets, the finest warriors from 12 species, trained since childhood in the art of war, were advancing on a single human position. A single human. A first-year cadet who'd been at the Galactic Military Academy for exactly 3 standard months. "Get me Galactic Command." "Now!" Vexia's voice cracked across the command center. Around her, a dozen senior instructors stared at their screens in disbelief. "Ma'am, they're ignoring the warning," Junior Instructor Talana reported, her tendrils quivering. "Protocol dictates immediate exercise termination when—" "I know what protocol dictates," Vexia snapped. "Why aren't they stopping?" On the main screen, Emma Rodriguez, 19 years old, former retail worker from Earth, utterly unremarkable in every measurable way, stood in the center of the training ground. She'd drawn a line in the dirt 30 meters from her position. According to YouTube analytics, 99.6% of viewers are not subscribed. That's a huge number. By subscribing the channel that is completely free, you'll help support the channel and never miss fresh content. She'd given them a warning, broadcast on all frequencies. "Don't cross that line or I'll stop you." They'd laughed. Of course they'd laughed. Zilax, the Krillian combat prodigy who'd never lost a single engagement, had responded with derision. "The human makes threats? We've studied your species. Weak bones, slow reflexes, minimal natural armor. You survived on your death world through tools and numbers, not strength." Emma had shrugged. "Okay, but seriously, don't cross the line." Now all 553 of them were crossing it. "Evacuate the close-range observers," Vexia ordered. "Jotaro, what's the human doing?" Jotaro, a 7-foot-tall Vexian warrior who'd served in 3 major conflicts before becoming an instructor, zoomed in on Emma's position. She's putting on audio devices, music players, I think." "She's what?" "And she's stretching, like pre-exercise stretching." Vexia's blood ran cold. This was supposed to be a simple tactical assessment, 500 cadets versus 1. The point was to teach the human about squad coordination, about the importance of tactical withdrawal, about knowing when you're outmatched. It was a lesson, a safe, controlled lesson. Except Emma Rodriguez had refused to withdraw. She'd drawn a line instead. The human issued a final warning, Vexia muttered, pulling up Emma's file again. 19 years old, no military background. Worked at something called Target for 3 years while attending university. Degree in xenobiology. Applied to the academy on what her file called a whim. Aced the written exams, barely passed the physical requirements, completely, utterly unremarkable. "Ma'am, Krillian forward elements are at 20 meters from the human position." On screen, Emma pulled her brown hair back into a ponytail. She rolled her shoulders, tilted, her head side to side. She looked like someone about to go for a jog. Korvax's voice came through the tactical channel, addressing his fellow cadets. "Remember, humans are fragile. Non-lethal force only. This will be over in seconds." 10 meters, ma'am." Emma's lips moved. The audio pickups caught her words. "Okay, guess we're doing this." 5 meters. They've crossed the line. The first wave of 100 cadets reached Emma's position in perfect formation, a textbook example of overwhelming assault tactics. Then Emma moved. Where did she go?" Talana gasped. The tactical display showed Emma's location marker blinking in and out. The visual feeds turned into a blur. 1 second, Emma was standing in the center of the line. The next, she was 15 meters to the left. Then behind the advancing cadets. Then in the middle of them. "Computer, slow playback to quarter speed," Vexia commanded. Even at quarter speed, Emma was just a streak. Krillian warriors, beings who could track prey moving at 60 kilometers per hour, whose reaction times were measured in milliseconds, started hitting the ground. Not falling, not stumbling, hitting the ground unconscious. Combat computers can't lock onto her, Jotaro reported, his voice hollow. She's moving outside their prediction parameters. 10 cadets down, 20, 50. How is she doing this? Someone whispered. Emma appeared in the center of a cluster of Vexian heavy-worlders, each one capable of crushing steel with their bare hands. She tapped one on the shoulder. He spun, fist already swinging. He was unconscious before the punch completed. Emma had already moved to the next one. "Review that," Vexia ordered, "frame by frame." They watched it again and again. Emma's hand moved, just a simple tap, really, and the Vexian's own momentum, combined with something she did to his neck, dropped him instantly. "She's using their strength against them," Jotaro breathed. "But that's advanced Taishen combat philosophy. Masters trained for decades to—" "She worked in retail," Vexia said numbly. 100 cadets down. 90 seconds. Zilax's voice crackled through comms. "Second wave, deploy shields, tactical flanking formation Theta 9. The remaining cadets activated their personal energy shields, military-grade equipment rated to withstand Starship point defense weapons. They split into 3 groups, attempting to surround Emma's position from multiple angles simultaneously. Emma stood in the center, looking at her nails. Waiting. The 3 groups converged. The shields flickered blue, overlapping to create an impenetrable energy cage that would trap her and... Emma walked through the shields like they weren't there. "That's impossible!" Talana shrieked. "Those are Tier 5 military shields. Nothing organic can pass through them." But Emma had. She was on the other side now, and 20 more cadets were on the ground. "Check the shield generators," Vexia demanded. "All functioning at 100% efficiency, ma'am. The shields are working perfectly. She just walked through them." 200 cadets down. 2 minutes, 30 seconds. The Academy's medical staff were scrambling now, rushing to check the fallen cadets. Initial reports came through. No serious injuries detected, precise neural strikes. They'll wake up in 20 to 30 minutes with headaches, nothing more. Emma was still humming to her music. "Elite cadets, advance," Korvax ordered, and the desperation in his voice was clear. "Execute Omega Protocol." The top 50 cadets across all species moved as one. Omega Protocol, a complex assault pattern designed by the greatest military minds in the galaxy, tested against every known combat doctrine. It was taught in the final year, reserved for the most sophisticated tactical scenarios. They were using it against a first-year human with 3 months of training. The pattern was beautiful. Each cadet moving in perfect synchronization, creating overlapping fields of attack with no blind spots, no openings, no possibility of... Emma laughed. The sound came through the audio pickups clearly. Genuine, delighted laughter. "Oh, you guys watched actual military training videos. That's so cute." She wasn't following the pattern. She wasn't responding to it. She was predicting it. Acrylian came from the left. Emma was already moving right, but not away, into the space where the next attacker would be in half a second. She used his own momentum to redirect him into the path of the third attacker. Both went down. "She's 3 moves ahead," Jotaro whispered. "She's not reacting, she's anticipating." "The Omega Protocol accounts for anticipation," Vexia protested. "It has 17 nested contingency sequences specifically designed to counter predictive responses." "Then why isn't it working?" On screen, Emma ducked under a sweeping strike, pivoted, and somehow ended up behind 5 cadets simultaneously. A gentle push here, a redirected attack there. They took each other out. 300 cadets down. 4 minutes. Vexia pulled up Emma's file again, scrolling frantically through her background information. There had to be something. Some hidden military training, some genetic enhancement, something. Education, Standard Earth Public Schools, university degree in xenobiology, 3.4 grade average, unremarkable, physical capabilities, within normal human ranges, slightly below average in strength testing. Unremarkable. Combat training. 3 months at the academy, basic hand-to-hand instruction, nothing advanced. Unremarkable. Employment history. 3 years at Target, a retail establishment, handled customer service, inventory management, and... Vexia stopped. Read that section again. Black Friday coordination. Holiday rush management. De-escalation of aggressive customers. High-stress environment adaptation. Jotaro, Vexia said slowly. What do we know about human retail environments? Ma'am?
Look it up. Now! While Jotaro searched Earth databases, Emma continued dismantling Omega Protocol like it was a child's puzzle. She moved through the elite cadets like water, always in the spaces between their attacks, always exactly where they weren't expecting. Korvax himself tried to tackle her, 800 pounds of muscle and tactical genius moving at full speed. Emma sidestepped, redirected his momentum with one hand, and he crashed into a wall, unconscious before he hit the ground. Ma'am, Jotaro's voice was shaking. I'm reading about human retail work, specifically this Black Friday event. It's organized chaos. Thousands of aggressive humans in confined spaces, all competing for limited resources. Staff members have to navigate crowds, predict customer movement, prevent violence, manage inventory under extreme pressure. For hours at a time, Vexia finished, understanding dawning, with no backup, no weapons, no shields. Emma Rodriguez worked Black Friday for 3 years straight, Jotaro confirmed. Her employee reviews say she was exceptional at crowd management and never flustered, even during the worst rushes. On screen, Emma was explaining this herself while casually dodging attacks from 6 different directions. "You all move like you're following scripts," she called out, dancing between strikes. "See, that's your problem. You trained for war, so you think in terms of tactics and protocols and formations." She caught a Vexian's punch, redirected it into Acrylian's shield, and both went down. Back home, we gave up on plans working out like, I don't know, millennia ago? You learn to adapt. Angry customers don't follow patterns. They don't care about your procedures. They want their discounted TV now, and they will absolutely fight you for it. Emma spun, avoiding 3 simultaneous attacks without even looking. You know how many times I've had to stop a fist fight over marked-down coffee makers? How many times I've had to navigate a crowd where everyone's moving unpredictably, grabbing things, shoving each other while I'm trying to restock shelves and answer questions and not get trampled? 400 cadets down. 6 minutes. She's treating trained warriors like shopping customers, Talana said in horror. No, Vexia corrected, finally understanding. She's treating this like it's easy compared to her actual job. The remaining 100 cadets hesitated. They could see their companions lying unconscious around them. They could see this small human, barely over 5 feet tall, maybe 120 pounds, standing calmly in the center of the carnage, still humming to her music. "Ma'am, should we halt the exercise?" Talana asked. "On what grounds?" She warned them, multiple times. They made their choice. Zilax pulled himself up from the ground, shaking his head to clear it. He looked at Emma, then at his fallen companions, then back at Emma. "Final assault," he roared. "All remaining. Cadets! Simultaneous engagement. Overwhelm her!" The last 100 charged. Emma sighed. It was clearly audible through the pickups, a long, tired sigh like someone who really didn't want to do this, but had no choice. She reached up and pulled out her headphones. "All right," she muttered. "Speedrun time." What happened next took exactly 47 seconds. The Academy's sensor systems overloaded trying to track everything. Cameras captured fragments. Emma, here, there, everywhere, moving through the final 100 cadets like they were standing still. Each movement precise, minimal, efficient. No wasted energy. No unnecessary force. Just devastating effectiveness. When the sensors recalibrated, all 523 elite cadets were on the ground. Emma stood in the center of them, checking her phone. "Medical teams, deploy!"
Vexia ordered, and the command center erupted into controlled chaos. She descended to the training ground herself, Jotaro following. They walked through the field of unconscious cadets, beings who represented the finest warriors their species could produce, now sleeping peacefully with minor bruises and wounded pride. Emma looked up as they approached. "Oh, hey, is the exercise over? Because I've got xenobiology homework due tomorrow and I really need to—" "How?" Vexia interrupted. "How did you do this?" Emma blinked. "I warned them not to cross the line." 500 elite warriors. You disabled 500 elite warriors in under 8 minutes. 7 minutes, 47 seconds actually, Emma corrected, checking her phone. "I was timing it." Jotaro's voice was hollow. "You've had 3 months of basic training. Most of these cadets have trained since childhood. Zilax has never lost an engagement. Korvax has studied under 16 different combat masters. They used Omega Protocol, which has a 98% success rate against any known threat." Emma shrugged. "They all fought like they expected things to go according to plan." And things never go according to plan. That's basic stuff. Vexia pulled up the medical reports flowing in. Every single cadet has the exact same injury pattern. Precise nerve strikes, calculated pressure points, 0 excess force. You didn't hurt anyone more than necessary. Well, yeah, they're classmates, not enemies. I just needed them to stop. You predicted their movements, all of them, simultaneously. Emma laughed, that same genuine, delighted laugh from before. "Commander, I've handled Black Friday rushes where 300 people tried to get through 2 doors at the same time. I've managed clearance sales where customers were literally climbing over each other. I've dealt with a lady who threw a toaster at my head because we ran out of the color she wanted." She gestured at the unconscious cadets. "These guys, they were organized. They moved in patterns. They telegraphed their intentions with their body language. It was actually easier than my old job because at least they were trying to be tactical about it." "That's impossible," Talana said, arriving with her medical team. "You're describing skills that take decades to develop." "Or 3 years of retail during holidays," Emma countered. "Look, you guys keep acting like humans are weak because we don't have natural armor or super strength or whatever, but you know what we do have? Adaptability. We evolved on a death world where the weather could kill us, the animals could kill us, the plants could kill us, and other humans could definitely kill us. We learned to survive not by being the strongest or the fastest, but by being the most flexible." She knelt down next to Zilax, who was starting to stir. "You guys train for war. You learn tactics and protocols and proper forms. That's great if the enemy follows the same rules, but humans? We train for chaos. We train for everything going wrong simultaneously. We train for the plan failing and having to improvise." Zilax's eyes opened. He looked up at Emma, confusion and anger mixing on his face. You dishonored us." "Dude, I warned you. Multiple times. You crossed the line." "What did you expect?" "We expected a challenge, not a massacre." Emma stood up, offering him a hand. "Maybe next time start with 50. Work your way up." He stared at her hand for a long moment, then took it. She pulled him up effortlessly, using leverage, not strength. "You fight without honor," Zilax said, but there was less anger in his voice now. "I fight to win," Emma corrected. "Honor's great right up until you're unconscious on the ground." The emergency briefing lasted 4 hours. Instructors from every department, representatives from Galactic Command, and a hastily assembled panel of human combat specialists all tried to make sense of what had happened. Emma sat through the first hour before excusing herself. She had homework. "New protocols effective immediately," Vexia announced to the assembled staff. "First, never assume human limitations based on physical measurements. Second, human warnings are to be treated as absolute statements, not negotiable positions. Third, we're implementing adaptive response training across all programs based on human methodology." Based on retail work? Someone asked skeptically. Based on chaos management, Vexia corrected. Humans don't train for perfect conditions. They train for everything going wrong. That's a skill set we've neglected. Jotaro was reviewing footage for the 100th time. She never used more force than necessary. Every strike was perfectly calibrated. That level of control is necessary when you're surrounded by fragile merchandise and litigious customers, Vexia finished, reading from the human retail training manual she'd downloaded. Employees must restrain aggressive individuals without causing injury that could result in legal action. They weaponized customer service, Talana said in wonder. They survived it, Vexia corrected, and it made them more dangerous than any military training we provide. Down in the medical bay, cadets were waking up. Most had splitting headaches. All had wounded pride. Korvax was the first to request transfer to Emma's training group. I want to learn human methods, he told Vexia. I'll approve it if you help me with xenobiology homework, Emma said, appearing in the doorway with a tablet covered in notes. Seriously, I don't understand Krillian neural structures at all. Korvax blinked. You defeated me utterly, and now you want academic assistance. Well, yeah, you're smart, right? That's why you're here? So help me understand this diagram because I've been staring at it for 20 minutes, and I still can't figure out where the secondary brain connects to. The secondary brain is a myth, Korvax interrupted. We have one brain with dual processing lobes. Oh, that makes way more sense. So this diagram is just wrong. Completely wrong. Awesome, thanks, Emma beamed at him. See? Cooperation. Much better than fighting. Galactic Command's official report was distributed fleet-wide within a week. Human threat assessment, comprehensive revision required. The accompanying footage of Emma's performance became mandatory viewing for all military personnel. New Academy motto, proposed by Jotaro and approved unanimously. Human warnings are final warnings. 3 weeks later, Emma was in the cafeteria, video calling home while eating pizza. Hey, Mom, yeah, school's good. Made some friends. Well, friends might be strong. More like people who respect me out of fear. But we're working on it. Zillax sat down across from her, tray in hand. Emma Rodriguez. Hey, Zill, how's the head? Functional. I've been reviewing your techniques. Cool. Want some pizza? It's pepperoni. Well, the alien equivalent. I think it's actually made from some kind of fungus, but it tastes close enough. I wish to train under you. Emma paused mid-bite. Dude, I worked retail. I'm not a master warrior or whatever. Exactly. You survived worse than war. That makes you the perfect instructor. Okay, that's actually kind of sweet. Sure, but seriously, you guys need to learn that sometimes the best fight is the one you don't have. You fought us. After warning you multiple times. That's different. In the command center, Vexia watched them through the cafeteria monitors. Jotaro joined her. She's treating this like a minor inconvenience, he observed. Because for her it was, Vexia replied. We tested her with our finest warriors and most sophisticated tactics. She compared it to retail work and found us lacking. It's humbling. It's necessary. Vexia pulled up the new training protocols. We've been preparing cadets for organized warfare, but the galaxy is chaotic, unpredictable. The humans understand that. They've always understood that. So we learn from them. We learn to survive them, Vexia corrected. Because if Emma Rodriguez is what happens when a human works retail for 3 years, I truly don't want to meet what happens when they actually try to be warriors. Down in the cafeteria, Emma was showing Zillax pictures of Black Friday crowds. He stared in horror. This is chaos. How did you survive? Emma grinned. Practice, buddy. Lots and lots of practice. And somewhere in the distance, 523 elite cadets collectively decided that maybe, just maybe, they should listen when humans give warnings.